guys, I am ready to start module 17. It is on measuring liquid volume and mass. So volume is just the stuff inside of an object, like liquid volume, and then mass is the weight of an object. And so I'm super excited, but this module is a little bit interesting. It's super short, first of all, and it's not like any of the other lessons that we've done. This is more about strengthening our common sense and just kind of being able to look at an object and use common sense to estimate how much it weighs or the liquid volume of an object. So basically, we're trying to get you familiar with volume and familiar with what 1 liter means. And like we use 1 liter to measure, we use liters to measure liquid volume, and there's different variations of it, which you'll learn later. But yeah, it's just to kind of get you familiar and just kind of be able to look at different like water bottles, like a flower vase or a pot and a pan, and just kind of estimate how much water it is holding or liquid it's holding, whatever it is holding. So yeah, just trying to get you familiar with it so that you have that in your brain, like that memory in your brain about liters and what it means. So, like for example, you wouldn't take this plant and be like, oh, that's several liters. No, it's way less than a liter, and you are going to know that instinctively after this lesson. So that's the point that I'm trying to make, is we're just building that common sense. We're not exactly measuring things perfectly. There's a couple of questions where you'll have to like look at like something like this, for example. I got this picture out for this lesson, but you see it's super old, so I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it has, oh, there, like with the light, it's kind of nice. Okay, so it has a scale on the side of the picture to tell you how much volume is inside. So like I filled this up to exactly 1 liter. It's just water, and then I put purple food coloring in it so you could see it better. And so this is going to be kind of like our base. Like this is what we're going to measure everything off of. This pitcher. So it's just an average sized pitcher, about halfway full. But this is exactly 1 liter. So anyways, that was a very long introduction for the lesson. Let's get started. You should have done the Are You Ready quiz on page 438. If you haven't, hurry and do that really quick and then come back to the video. This one is just about measuring different objects and then comparing numbers. So stuff that we've already done before, of course. All right, let's get started. We're on page 439. On the lesson 1, it says estimate and measure liquid volume. So like I said, we're really focusing on estimating. And just creating different scenarios. So the I can statement says, I can use metric units to estimate and measure liquid volume. So the metric system is not the system that we use in America, but we use the metric system, metric units, to measure volume because it's easier. The customary system would be like gallons and quarts, but right now we're learning about liters. Okay, here we go. The Spark Your Learning says, describe a situation in which each container might have been filled. In each description, be sure to compare the amount of liquid in the container to the size of the container. The same amount of liquid is in each container. That's interesting. The same amount of liquid is in each container. Okay, so all we have to do for this Spark Your Learning activity is look at each of these containers and just provide a situation for it and say to compare the amount of liquid in the container to the size of the container. So like this one, the water or whatever it is, the liquid is less than half full, or the container is less than half full with the liquid. Even though this is the same amount of liquid in each of these containers, it doesn't look like it, right? Like this one looks all the way full, this one's about half full, this is less full. So what does that tell us about the containers? Well, this container is obviously the biggest, this is the smallest, and that's a medium-sized container because it's the same amount of liquid. It would be like if I poured 1 liter of this water into my coffee cup, it would probably fill up all of my coffee cup or even overflow it, but that's because this is smaller than the pitcher. So even though it's half full, the pitcher is half full, if I poured it into a smaller container, this container would be full or overflowing. So same amount of liquid, different size container, shows different amount. Okay, so this is kind of the fun part where we get to talk about the situation. So you're just gonna write this down, be creative. I'm looking at the pot and I'm thinking, okay, you know, that's a pot put on the stove. We're gonna cook some soup. So we filled it less than half full. And then the water bottle, looks like a water bottle to me. Filled it up all the way to the tippy top to get ready for a bike ride. Want a full water bottle for a bike ride. And then maybe this is a container for watering your plants. You filled it up halfway full to go water your plants. So yeah, that's pretty fun. So give a situation and then relate the amount to the container, which we already did. Less than half full, all the way full, half full. Okay, cool. It says, the Turn and Talk says, which container can hold the greatest amount of liquid? Which container holds the least amount of liquid? Explain. Well, since we know that each of the containers has the same amount of liquid in each one, we can very clearly say, okay, then this first one is able to hold the most amount of liquid because it's like not even half full yet. This one holds the least amount, and then this one is in the middle. All right, next page. It says, under Build Understanding, it says, this metric measuring cup is filled with 1 liter of water. This. So I didn't have like one of those measuring cups. All of mine were too small, and so that's why I got my pitcher, but that's what it's there for. And then it says, a mug holds less than 1 liter. And that makes sense. A mug versus a pitcher, gonna hold less liquid. A bottle of juice holds about 1 liter. So like a bottle of juice, a bottle of soda, not like the big bottles that you share, but just like an individual bottle of soda or juice that holds about 1 liter. And then it says a paint can holds more than 1 liter. So picture all of these everyday objects, and that's how we're going to build this knowledge of what a liter actually means and what it represents, right? So our connected vocabulary says liquid volume is the amount of liquid in a container. The liter is the basic metric unit for measuring liquid volume. So that's what we use to measure volume, liquid volume. Okay, number 1. Tam pours 1 liter of water into a container that holds exactly 1 liter. Which of these containers can hold exactly 1 liter of water? Estimate. Does each container hold more than 1 liter, about 1 liter, or less than 1 liter of liquid? Okay, so this is where we're going to practice estimating. And so we're going to use this as our example, okay? This large pitcher halfway full of liquid, but this liquid is exactly 1 liter of water. And then we're going to use the pictures up above as well as a reference. So this is less than, equal to, greater than 1 liter. So the first one is a drink bottle. So this is like the big 2-liter bottles that you get for birthday parties and stuff to share. And so this is, we're gonna say that this is more than 1 liter. It doesn't want us to say exactly how much it can hold yet. We'll get to that when it says measure liquid volume. Right now we're just estimating using more than, equal to, or less than 1 liter. Oh, sorry, you couldn't see that. We're using this right here. More than 1 liter, about 1 liter, or less than 1 liter. So a drink bottle, that's going to be more than 1 liter. Okay, now what about this cute little juice box? Okay, this juice box is probably going to hold about the same as the mug, or maybe even less. So the mug was less than 1 liter, so the juice box is going to be less than 1 liter. Okay, and then what about the milk jug? So the milk jug looks like one of the half gallons, and it looks like it would hold about the same as 1 bottle of juice. Maybe it holds a little bit more, but I'm guessing that it's about 1 liter. I'm picturing like those half gallons that you can get at the grocery store, and I feel like they are the same. I feel like there's this much milk in those half gallon bottles. And then finally, the sports bottle. So again, the sports bottle looks like it holds about the same as this juice. So I'm going to say about 1 liter again. Okay, so then at the bottom part, it says to measure the liquid volume. Now, if we don't have a measuring cup or a drink bottle or a juice box or a milk jug or a sports bottle, we can't do this. And so I'm not going to worry about it. I don't want you guys to worry about it. But we can use like common knowledge, and we say, okay, this drink bottle, this looks like the 2 liters that we get at the grocery store. So this is 2 liters. The juice box is far less than 1 liter, so we're just going to say less. Less. The milk jug is going to be about 1 liter. And the sports bottle is also 1 liter. Okay, so we're just keeping it simple. Remember, this lesson is all about just being familiar with 1 liter and like how much it holds. Okay, pour and measure using the 1 liter. Record that. Yep, we're not doing that. Okay, with 1 liter of water, which of the containers does Tam likely fill to the top? He would probably fill the milk jug or the sports bottle. Either one works. With 1 liter of water, he would fill the milk jug. I guess it depends on what he's doing. Why would he fill it up with a milk jug? Maybe he's recycling the milk jug and using it as like for his plants to water, a watering can. Or maybe he's going on a run and he will use his sports bottle. So either one works, milk jug or sports bottle. All right. So pretty simple. We're just getting familiar with it. I hope this is all making sense. Sometimes I can talk a lot and go off. It happens. All right, here we go. Number 2, next page. It says Reza and Joy have same-sized containers filled with different amounts of water, as shown. Reza's container is marked in liters. About how much water in liters does Joy's container have? So the same size containers, Reza's has it marked, Joy's does not. But by comparing the two, we can say how much water Joy's container has. Part A says, find a unit name on Rez's container. This is the unit of liquid volume that is being used. So if you look at the bottom, and this is like real life application, right? If you look at the container, there's an uppercase L there. That means it's being measured in liters. Okay, so you have to be very careful if you're looking at different things that could be measured in liters. Like this one, on the other side, it's measured in quarts. Can you see it? Quarts and ounces. So, yeah. So you have to be very careful, and you'll be more familiar with it. This one is liters, and milliliters is on the bottom. So yeah, uppercase L, that means it's being measured in liters. Part B says, find the measurement marks on Rez's container. How much does each line stand for? What numbers label the lines? So this is another thing that different measuring tools use. So like this one marks every quarter of a liter. So I have 1 liter here, and then 0.5, so half of a liter, is this next line, but there's a line in between them. So the difference between 0.5 and 1, in between those is going to be 0.75, right? So every quarter is marked, but every half is labeled. On Rez's, every 1 liter is marked. See that? 1, 2, 3. Oh, wait. Yep, it does, it does. I thought there wasn't a 2. I was like, wait. No, but it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All the way up. So they're just counting by, so each mark stands for 1 liter. That's the scale. Part C says, find the amount of water in Rez's container. The water in Rez's container is at the mark for 3. Okay, see how it's about at 3? We don't do, this is just like a picture, and so it's trying to draw like a 3D model, and so we're not using that back line right there, okay? That line is just to show you that this is like a 3D, 3-dimensional container, and so that's just how they draw it to make it look like 3D. We are using that front line because that's where the numbers are. Makes sense? So don't get confused. We're using the line that's closest to us. Same with this one. We're using the one that's closest to us. That back part is just for artistic reasons. So Rez's container has about 3 liters of water. Part D says, how do the 2 containers compare in size? The containers are the same size. We knew that from the story problem. Part E says, estimate the amount of water in Joy's container by using the marks on Rez's container. So we're going to use Rez's container to compare Joy's amount of liquid. So this is the line, whoop, and it's about at 5 liters. See that? So the water in Joy's container matches a level of about 5 liters. I just did 5 uppercase L in Rez's container. About how much water is in Joy's container? Joy's container has about 5 liters of water. Done. Okay. So now the check understanding, do this on your own. Pause the video, come back, check your work. The check understanding says, number 1 says, how many liters of water are in the container shown? Estimate to the nearest liter. So this container, the scale is by 2s. See that? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. But then that means the lines in between those even numbers, 2, 4, 6, 8, is going to be the odd numbers, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's the scale, is by 2s. But then the lines in between are the odd numbers. So how many liters of water are in this container? I'm looking again at that front number, and it is at about 7 liters. So I'll say 7 liters. You can write out the word liters, or you can do uppercase L for liters. All right, last page. Number 2 says, Mindy and Ken have same size containers filled with different amounts of water as shown. Mindy's container has 20 liters of water. About how much water in liters does Can's water container have? So again, Mindy's container is labeled, Can's is not. So we're going to use the measurements on this. So now it's interesting because the scale of Mindy's container is much different. None of them are marked except the top one and the bottom one. Now the bottom number usually tells you the scale, right? On the other problem, on the check understanding, that first number that we see is 2. So that kind of gives us a clue, like if it starts at 2, we're probably counting by 2s. With my picture, the first number I saw is 0.5, and so that tells me we're probably counting by halves. So then this one, the bottom number is 5, and so we can first assume that we're counting by 5s and then try it and see if it works. That's like a good starting point. So let's try it and see if it works. So 5, 10, I'm going to write it in, 10, 15, 20, 25. It worked. So then we're counting by 5s. Cool trick, huh? All right, so Mindy's container has 20 liters of water. So let's look at Can's container, and it looks like we're about, I would say the 10, I'm gonna say the 10 liters. It looks like it's maybe in between 10 and 15. So if you said a number in between 10 and 15, I would totally accept that. But I know that it's not less than 10, and I know that it's not 15 or more than 10. So I would accept like 10, 11, or 12. It's easiest to just go to the nearest number that is actually on the scale. And so even though it looks like it's a little bit more than 10, 10 is the closest thing, and so we're just gonna call it good at 10 liters. But if you said like 11 liters or 12 liters, that's okay, but probably not more than 12. Okay, estimate the liquid volume of the liquid in the container. Write more than 1 liter, about 1 liter, or less than 1 liter for each one. So this is where we put our skills to the test. Remember, this whole lesson was just about using common sense, knowing what a liter represents, and I just lost my train of thought. It just totally came to being logical about our estimations. That's what this lesson is all about. Okay, so this vase of flowers, roses or tulips, probably tulips looks like, is that going to be more than 1 liter, about 1 liter, or less than 1 liter? So here's my picture for reference. This is exactly 1 liter. I'm going to say that that vase is about 1 liter. The soup bowl looks delicious. I'm going to say that's less than 1 liter. And then this pail of water, that looks like it's much more than 1 liter. So more than 1 liter. My handwriting is getting sloppy. Oh no. Okay, number 6. About how many liters of water are in this container? So again, here's our scale. Our first number is 20, and so we're probably counting by 20s, right? Not every number is marked though. So we have 20 and then 60 and then 100. So what is halfway between 20 and 60, or 2 and 6? If we're counting by 2s, and between 2 and 6 would be 4. So this would be 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Makes sense? So then this level, this water, is at the 40 liters line. 40 liters. That's a lot. Okay. That's all. That's it. Did you do the learning mindset? It says, how do I feel about my learning when I estimate and measure liquid volume? So how do you feel? Do you feel confident in estimating? Do you feel like you're being logical? Yeah, how do you feel? Let me know. I hope this went well for you. Good luck on the homework, and let me know if you need anything. But it's pretty fun. Just kind of a laid back little lesson. So hope you had a good time. And yeah, let me know if you need anything. Love your guts. Bye.